doing the Zoltar right now? It's as terrifying as it was in the movie.
It sounds like waves. It's like terrifying mechanic waves.
Well, hello and welcome to the Confused Breakfast. Do you remember the pure joy of a trip to the video rental store as a kid?
Sometimes.
It's hard to beat the ease of the modern era and streaming platforms where you don't even have to leave your couch, but there was something truly special about heading to Blockbuster after a run-in with some local cops, browsing the aisles, picking out a movie to take home and watch while the bags of pot and mushrooms you ate wear off. On this podcast, we revisit and dissect some of our favorite childhood movies from that magical era to see if they still move us the way they did as kids. My name is Mike Schulte. Joining me, as always, two dudes who need to be taken down a peg or two. Sean Pryor and AJ Venz, how the heck are ya?
I like to be humbled.
Yeah.
I enjoy that from time to time. A little ego death.
Peg or two.
I like that.
Not much.
Awesome
just a little
intro, Mike.
bit. Yeah, why don't you write it?
Better the crap you pull, Matt. No. Yeah, we'll be humble. We can get humbled. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, the
Take your
Gwyneth
bag or
Paltrow
peg it
thing.
too.
That
Take your
really
bag,
takes you
peg
down
it
a peg or two.
Yeah, it does. It sets
When
you
you
back.
find out Gwyneth Paltrow really doesn't want you on her podcast.
Or
Turns
knows
out-
that you exist at all.
Look, we have candles here for other movie stars. Let's get one of her candles
But
in here. And,
headless.
oh,
Ooh.
Yeah.
headless candles.
Do they make those?
He hasn't seen 7.
Oh. See,
It's like
he has not seen. Have you
like
seen
Sleep-
7?
is this
Hey,
like
right
Sleepy
now,
Hollow?
Right now, AJ, have
Headless
you seen
Horseman?
7? Have you seen 7?
7.
Oh, shit.
I knew it.
All right, that's up next
Well.
week. We're instantly doing it.
All right.
But on today's episode, my friends, we discuss a movie that we all saw and loved in the early 2000s, a true cult classic whose quotes would be heard endlessly for much of the remaining decade. The breakthrough feature-length film for the comedy troupe Broken Lizard. We're, of course, talking about 2001's Super Troopers.
Well, dang it.
Sundays.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another nostalgic journey to the past with The Confused Breakfast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy wherever you
That's
are.
nice. I like that.
Take it away, boys.
Well, if you're new to the podcast, we're going to be reviewing Super Troopers scene by scene with a modern eye. But in order to do it properly, first we got to talk about it with pure nostalgia. AJ, first time you saw Super Troopers, what was your thought? What was your nostalgic rating about it?
DVD rental, basement rental. Probably didn't see it till more like 2004. Let's be real. 2004, 2005, something in there. Probably getting close to, getting close to high school, I bet. Maybe freshman year. Let's take it to there. I bet it's about a freshman year watching Super Troopers, DVD rental. And we, watching this, I never have been ever, never smoked pot. Never done it any sort of extent of just where it takes over your life, because I feel like that's who really wants
It's your
you to-
identity.
They want you to watch this movie because they smoke pot now, and I have real problem with people who just have identities and agendas like that are just taken over by that single stupid thing. Anyways, I don't have a problem if you smoke pot. It's all other guys. It's just it's never been a thing for me. So I thought it was funny, but not in the way that other people did. And I didn't think it was funny until later on. I watched it a couple times again later. So initially, though, I'll give it a 6. Just
6
keep it
straight
clean and
up.
easy. 6.
Sean, what about you, man?
I'm high right now.
See?
I watched this with Jordan, of course.
Jordan.
Yeah. Sponsor of the show.
Sponsor, yeah.
Down in his
Friend of the show.
Yeah, down in his grandma's basement, which is the perfect place to watch these movies. You have to see it to believe it. But it was probably I think a VHS that we got, or that he got, and we watched it and we had a good time. Didn't know a thing about smoking pot. Didn't know a thing about drugs. Didn't know a thing about women. But we laughed along the way. Come on, it's fun. I'll give this a 5.8.
5.8, guys. I was 2002. I'm in college. I am 20 years old. This movie was made for me. I am a white male in college.
Road trip.
We just talked about it.
Yeah.
The early 2000 comedies were the funniest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. And this was one of those movies where I think a buddy of mine, Grant Munson, rented it or bought it. This is prime DVD era. Bought it. We went over to the house, just put it on repeat like 4 times, learned all the quotes, drank to it. Just an unbelievable introduction to this comedy troupe. So I'm a 9.6. Today's executive producer, it's a special one.
Yeah.
Her name is Laura Berkmeyer. Her.
Wow.
And what we did was we ran a little campaign maybe a couple months ago to show our fans the importance of like helping sponsors out. If you help our sponsors out, they help us out. It makes everybody happy. So we did a Liquid IV thing. Everybody that bought a Liquid IV or a HelloFresh got entered in to win a contest to be an executive producer and more that you'll hear later. She was the winner. So she got to pick this movie. This was her choice, and she gets to write the reviews. So here's her nostalgic rating. I know my name isn't as well known as the likes of Starling or Jarrett Layoff, but if you listen to the Iowa Live episode, you can hear me and my husband pretty effectively arguing why Indiana Jones is the superior Harrison Ford character. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So for this prize, I was able to choose a movie for you guys to review, and man, let me say, choosing a movie was like Sophie's choice. How do you pick just one? I have a renewed sense of empathy for you guys now that I know how challenging these choices are each episode. Y'all can attest that I sent an overwhelming list of options categorized by my defined genres like spooky and or dark and twisty, somewhat obscure, super obscure, and because they were filmed in Cincinnati. My final choice was Super Troopers because damn dang it, it's funny, and I wanted to capitalize on the fact that somehow you had not yet covered it despite its obvious universal appeal. My nostalgic rating? First, I had to refresh my memory. On initial glance on IMDb, otherwise known as my Bible, it says the movie was released in 2001. Other sources say it was February 2002. I'm sure Sean will share his insights on this discrepancy, but from what I can tell, the initial release was at Sundance 2001, which incidentally, Cincinnati is one of 3 finalist cities to be the 2027 host of Sundance, just saying. And then it was publicly released a year later in 2002. Knowing this timeline puts things into a weird perspective. It literally bookends 9/11. Part of me wonders if the popular reception might have been better if it hadn't been released so close to an international tragedy. And another part of me screams, but we were ready to laugh. We needed it. So 2002, meow, what a year. I graduated high school that May and started college later that fall, so this movie was made for me and my peers. I can't recall if I saw the movie in the theater or waited to rent it from our local Blockbuster, but I'm confident I saw it as an early adopter of the Broken Lizard fan club. Surely my high school boyfriend and I saw it together as this style of raunchy humor was his brand of choice. From the cameos, hey, is that Jim Gaffigan? To the ridiculous characters, I mean Farva, the mustaches, the syrup. This comedy lives in my brain rent-free to this day. Things I quote more often than I should. I want a goddamn liter of cola. Team Ramrod. You boys like Mexicoooo. And yes, as cat owners and lovers of this film, in our house, we meow at each other on a constant basis. Nostalgic rating, 8.5, or the equivalent of 2.04 liters of cola in cups. That is a 7.48, my friends.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, 7.48 for all the movies we've done is going to take this all alone into the 77th spot. It's just below Tombstone and Elf, just above Ernest Scared Stupid and Uncle Buck.
Okay.
Is
Fun
how we
movies.
feel about it nostalgically.
Great job,
Okay.
Laura. Good to have you on board for
Heck
this
yeah.
one.
So, time to strip that nostalgia completely away. We got to go to Sean. We got to learn the important details of the movie so that we can talk about this only from a modern eye. Let's go.
Produced by Richard Perello, Robert Boracchi, and Peter Langill. Written by Broken Lizard. Cinematography by Joaquin Bacasa. He also did We Own the Night and The Lovers, both Joaquin Phoenix movies. Kind of fun. Edited by Jay Chandrasekhar, Jacob Craycroft, and Kevin Hefferman. Yep. Directed by Jay Chandrasekhar. Cast: Eric Stolhensky, Jay Chandrasekhar, Steve Lemmy, Kevin Hefferman, Paul Soder, Marissa Coughlin, Daniel Von Bargan, Jim Gaffigan, Jimmy Noonan, John Bedford Lloyd, Felipe Brennemkenmeyer, Maria Tornberg, Andrea Vipolas,
And Adam Johnson.
Vipolis, Jeffrey Arend, Joey Kern, and Brian Cox. The idea for the film came from an experienced Jay Chandrasekhar and friend Steve Lemmy had while traveling to a wedding and would frequently get pulled over by cops along the way while they were both drinking and on drugs. They would joke about the incidents and wonder if the cops had a sense of humor in the situation that they could thoroughly fuck with them if they wanted. Thus, the idea for Super Troopers was born. After the script was completed, Jay Chandrasekhar took the script around to almost every studio in Hollywood, including Miramax. Harvey Weinstein was interested in making the film, but would never give Jay a meeting. Finally, as Jay was giving up and Broken Lizard was essentially breaking up, one of Jay's college friends' dad called him up wanting Jay to read a script that he had written, but also wanted Jay to send his script for Super Troopers to him. So he sent it to the guy, and like maybe a couple days later, he called Jay back, and he's like, "Yeah, this script's pretty funny. Could you get it made for $1 million?" He's like, "Yep." And he just gave him money. He was just, I think Jay
Venmo'd him.
I read his book. He's got a book out on this, or like his like kind of life or whatever of Broken Lizard. I think it's called Mustache Shenanigans.
Cool.
And he's got a lot of great stories about like the background of this and like how when they did make the film, then they needed a studio to buy it and to release it. And he went to Harvey Weinstein at Miramax and like set up so many screenings for him, and he would just like not be at the screenings. Like he set one up at like that was like near NYU, like film students, you know, and he's like the whole crowd loved it pretty much, but Harvey wasn't there until like the credits started rolling. And then, like, as they were giving notes, like the NYU students, they were loving it. They were just like, "Yeah, this is a movie for us," you know. And as Harvey Weinstein walked in, film students noticed him and were like, "Well, this frame was a little off here."
Oh, Jesus Christ!
So Harvey didn't end up buying it. So honestly, good. The film the film shot in New York, various locations, including Newball, New York, and Fishkill, New York. Super Troopers was released February 15th, 2002, in Sundance, 2001. And on a budget of $1.5 million, the film made $23.2 million at the box office and garnered a crowd-funded sequel.
So when I put our date on the actual episode, what do I put? 2001 or 2002?
I would say 02. I usually go by when it's wide release.
Okay. 2002 is the new one. I'm going to change it right now. But
That's a lie.
While I change it, AJ... he's going to be up next. He did all the research to let us know what critics and fans thought, ratings, reviews. What do you think, bro?
Please move that gigantic tomato meter.
Gross.
It's like one of my favorite quotes of this whole freaking movie. Is just, please move that gigantic 36%.
Guys, bottom 30 of any movie we've done, that is tied with TMNT 2, per the critics.
Per the critics. Per the popcorn meter. 90%. 90% popcorn meter. This has got to be up there in the discrepancies.
So I did look it up. The number one is still Boondock Saints.
Wow.
That is they went from a 28 to a 91, 63% difference. Super Troopers is now second on our list with 54% difference.
What's third now? I know that...
Surf Ninjas Biodome tied at 53.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. I love that. I love that.
These are my favorite.
We get. These are the best. Probably some of the best we get to do. IMDb coming in real hot. It's 7.
The 21st movie that we've done that is a 7.0, 10%. That means one out of every 10 movies is a 7. There are 100 different ratings, but everybody chooses this one. Just throwing it out there.
That's just like slapping a 3 stars on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
It's exactly
3
what
stars.
It is. It's a movie.
It's
I watched it.
I watched it. Maybe again, maybe not. I don't know.
It's the middle of 5, which technically isn't the middle of 5.
Yeah, it's a 5, but not a 5.
You're
Right?
100% correct.
It's better than the middle. So it's like saying 55%.
I give that
or
point
something.
a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, thank you. It literally, it's the middle of 5. You're right, but it's not the middle
quite.
of 5.
It's like most of us agree a movie's not going to be lower than a 4. So
Because
the new scale is 4 to 10.
A 2.5 star, which would be a 2.5 out of 5, is technically bad.
Yeah, it goes. It has
For
the
somehow, some
implications of negativity.
Yes.
Whereas a 3 means It's better than bad.
I don't want to make it bad.
It's not Citizen Kane.
It's like it's the agnostic of it's the agnostic of movie reviews.
That's why I think
you don't have any balls in
And
it.
then a 3.5 is the Satanist.
yes, our idea
cool
of
one.
having a 0 or a 1 is my favorite because it's either did you like it or did you not like it?
Yeah.
Like that's our new rating
Yeah.
scale.
We should just do that, or just do 0 to 2.
No, now it's getting or 0 to 1, but with points. No.
What about 0 to 3?
No.
Now we're really getting into it, Mike. I'll shut up.
All right. I'm glad we had that conversation.
I'm glad we had
very
this
important.
conversation. 75 is the highest one I saw on IMDb was from Lou Lemonick, New York Post. Laugh out loud comedies are so rare that you shouldn't casually pass up Super Troopers, which is essentially a smarter and much funnier version of the old Police Academy flicks.
Good comparison.
Scott Tobias, the AV Club, with no greater ambition than reworking the Police Academy movies. Another reference for you. Broken Lizard comes up with a winning formula. 1 part laughs and 2 parts goodwill. Great. What else you got in there? How about Kevin Thomas at Los Angeles Times, East versus West here. 20 out of 100. There's nothing super about Super Troopers.
Yeah. Someone had to say it.
Except for those deep into the low end of the frat house mentality that equates smart alecky with hilarity. Great. New York Times, Dana Stevens just said bad and tasteless. You laugh neither with it nor at it, but rather sit counting the minutes while the movie laughs for no good reason at itself. Harsh.
Okay.
Some reviews here, guys. I love it when ones are they don't actually have like a rating. There's just no rating with it. There's no 0 out of 10. There's no 1 out of 10. Whatever. It's totally fine. But this one, it makes it fun to guess maybe what they were going to be. Very, 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 very funny film. Said Paris, NY. Paris-ny? Yeah, Paris, NY. March 14th, 2001. This group of guys have written and acted what's such a funny film. I think I have to see it again so I don't miss some parts from laughing. The screenplay was very funny. The acting was so natural, it doesn't look like acting at all. Yeah. Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah, got it.
Rob Lowe is famously quoted as saying, "Don't let him catch you acting." That's what it is. Who are these guys? They have bright futures ahead of them. All right. America's baffled indie scene. This is also in 2001 from Howie 516, 1 out of 10. What I find most baffling of the current indie scene is that this film was the first to sell at Sundance. Maybe the success of Dude, Where's My Car? But I did not see the film. But what I heard and read leads me to think that we're more interested in laughing than thinking or feeling. I don't know if he's saying he didn't see Dude, Where's My Car? Or if he didn't see this movie and he still gave it a 1 out of 10. And if that's the case, fuck you.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, that's all. Let's jump over to our favorite folks over in the Little Lebowski, Urban Achievers. Make sure you guys join in on Patreon if you want to. Take on that top tier. Join in. You get that exclusive channel along with all the other perks. So join us like Derek and Mike G did today. Derek, for real, simply saying, in my humble opinion, this movie walked so Beerfest could run. Cheers.
I like that.
Cheers.
I almost feel the same way.
Yeah, I dig it. Mike G, coming on in. I'll always remember it. The one and only high school party I got invited to. My cousin was dating one of the cool guys at the time, and I was allowed to tag along to his party. I felt under pressure. A high school party with the cool kids? How am I going to fit in? Are they going to be able to tell me? Are they going to be able to tell I'm a loser? Am I going to have to drink beer or something? The pressure is too much. Cut to me sitting on the couch in this kid's basement, not knowing anyone besides my cousin, sipping on a can of Coke when somebody flips on Super Troopers. I'd heard of it, but never seen it. and mentioned it. At that point, my cousin's boyfriend said, "What? You've never seen this?" and proceeded to jump over the couch to sit next to me so he could properly explain to me all the jokes throughout the movie. Honestly,
it does take explaining. It's yeah. You need somebody there with you.
You do, sometimes you do. Honestly, 10 out of 10 male bonding moment.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I'll always appreciate him for making me feel welcome for 90 minutes. Nostalgic 9, modern day 8.25.
All right.
Let's talk.
Well, boys, I've been thinking on today's episode, how about we pop a couple Viagra and we review Super Troopers with raging mega huge boners?
Okay.
Nah?
That's crazy, dude.
All right. Oh, by the way, I came up with a great new name for our podcast. Get this. You're AJ Venn. I'm Mike Schulte. Shh. You're Sean Pryor. Venn Schreier. Team Venn Schreier. Yeah? Okay, what game we playing today? Let's play one of those games I keep hearing about. On I'm Super Stoked. You did that thing, with the one who can say meow the most.
No games.
Hell, I can play meow. I can say meow. I can say moo. For $20, I'll call the podcast audience chicken fuckers. So here we go.
Easy, Schulte.
Chicken fuckers.
Easy, Schulte.
Some of them are paying customers.
So scene 1. While troopers Ramathorn and Rabbit are tormenting a group of teenagers for smoking marijuana, they encounter a crazed speeding motorist. It is revealed to be a prank from Trooper Womack. Back at the station, they're chastised for a lack of arrest by their boss, Captain O'Hagan, and warns them that they risk being shut down. We also meet suspended Trooper Rod Farva and Officer Foster as they have a run-in at the diner with the local city police.
I have to say something.
Yeah.
And I want to say this up front. Because I truly believe it now upon this rewatch. And I'm not, it's going to sound super general, but whatever. This might be one of the greatest introductory scenes of all time, guys. I'm not kidding.
I wanted to think that. Like going in and I'm like, oh man, I remember how great this is.
Yeah.
But it's probably not as good. It's fucking awesome.
It's really fucking good.
It might be better now that we're critically watching.
I know. Sean, I want your opinion. You're still not talking. I'm gonna let you talk.
No,
this
me
is
and you.
Well, there's why. Here's why it's bad.
Oh yeah,
the angle.
Oh, do you see the angle on his mustache and the sunshot, the slow motion shot when he gets out of the trooper car and the sun's in the background?
And then you have that oneer, right? No, I do. I want to like. You either agree or you don't agree. I just want to hear it.
I agree that it's maybe it's not one of the greatest of all time.
I know,
I get
but
what
you
you're
know
saying.
what I mean.
I get what you're saying. It's really, really good. I just wish the rest of the movie was like this.
Have you seen the intro to Silence of the Lamb?
No.
Have you seen the intro? I'm not saying on that.
I know.
We aren't winning those awards,
I'm
guys.
going to make sure to cut this part out of the TikTok video so that you can just be saying it's the best of all time.
Great. Because
no,
go ahead.
I truly agree with you. It's really funny, and these three in the car that they're pulling over are so fucking good.
Dude.
Joey Kern is so underrated in my opinion. Like from Skate,
He was in
Cabin Fever.
Yeah.
I love him as a comedic actor so much. I wish he was in more. I don't know where he is anymore, but
he has these moments that he can go from absolute terrified to whatever, bro.
know, dude.
And I'll say it now because I'll forget it later. At the very end, when he comes down the stairs and he looks up and he sees him, he's like, "Oh my god, no!" I laughed super hard
Dude,
at that
it's cool.
point,
They're
dude.
not cops anymore. Oh.
Dude, you're right. They're all very underrated, I think, in this, and him especially.
The I guess authority look that they have as they're pulling, it's true fear.
Oh yeah.
If we're just having road beers going to a show in St. Louis or something like that, and a cop pulls up like that and is looking over, I'd be fucking terrified.
Yes.
Even though I guess open containers is legal in St. Louis.
In Missouri?
No, it's just I'm from St. Louis, and everyone does it, so they just let everyone do it. It's like when you go to a tailgate and 100,000 people are walking around with beers. They're not going to give everybody open containers.
Last time I was there, my friends were saying that was legal. I'm like, cool.
No, that's just everyone in St. Louis.
Okay,
at all times. So just assume
it's
everyone's
an
got an open
unspoken law.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Love the setup of they're just with as cops, as authority figures, fucking with people like this is such a good concept, and like it's such a simple concept of just like like even what I said in the intro, like they just got the idea because like what if the cops did want to fuck with you like this, and not in a bad way, I guess, I don't know. It's the setup is really, really good.
I'll save it maybe for like our post episode or something, like our Patreon convo. I'll tell you about a great story where literally we accidentally went across the border of Canada.
Oh, yeah.
And we got fucked with by the border police. And it's funny, but I'll save it for later.
Cool.
I'll save it for Patreon. But this is great because I thought back to the first time watching it, and I thought about how serious they look getting out of that car. But then also the stuff leading up to it, you also start to just question your own process of watching this movie. You're just like, how did they get back there?
Dude,
this is very funny.
The second time he comes up, he's got his flashlight out. Dude. So good.
That's my favorite. It's like, license and registration. It's like, it's daylight.
I fucking lost it on this rewatch when he comes back with the flashlight. The fact, and then even like the little things that they don't have to. It's funny enough as it is, but the fact that when they do leave, they drive around the other side of
I
them.
know.
And then the reverse back. Like, I mean, every little bit of this is just out of control.
By the way, perfect timing. Like on that shot, she's like, I'm about to pull my gun and bust a cap in that ass.
Exactly. Like you just think
focus onto them. That's really good.
You just think like they had like a radio in the car so that way they could get the right timing.
Sure.
And you're just thinking, but it's just such a brilliant little thing to do. And like the idea and this idea of like eating a bag of pot and a bag of shrooms
and then asking for the money back.
and then asking for the money back on
Call
top.
Guinness, baby.
And then he like,
call Guinness.
under $30. Well, you get a chance. That's not real cool, man. He's like, fuck, man. He's still chewing on it.
One of my favorite lines ever is when what's his name speeds by him.
Mac?
It's a Mac. Yeah, Womack.
Speeds by and he just gets up. Mother of God.
Dude,
I don't know why. That's
Sean,
so
the
funny.
shots, some of these shots are incredible. You just said that shot when busts a cap in his ass. The shot of when Ramathorn does get out of the car, it's slow motion and the sun is behind him and he's just silhouetted at it. The
Very
up-close
Western
shots
feeling.
of people's faces, the mother of God, or even Farva, car 92, do you need my assistance? It's just right up in his mouth. Like it's pretty genius, some of the shot choices.
I like it a lot, and like some people were comparing this to Police Academy, and I get maybe the comedy wise and just that it's
cops.
It's
involves
cops and it's comedy.
But he was more inspired by Burt Reynolds movies. Like Burt Reynolds is Jay Chandrasekhar's like hero, and he did a movie with him, I think. But movies like White Lightning and Hooper, and obviously Longest Yard and stuff like the Cannonball Run, obviously. Like, and this movie looks like those movies, and I love that feeling. This is a summer movie for me.
Yeah,
I agree
for sure. Like car movies are for me. I don't know why.
Windows down on some of these scenes. Yeah.
It's funny, like Mike G was talking about how, like going to like the friend's house and like you're like out of place and you're around the cool kids. This was definitely one of those movies. It was like going into summer and like I didn't know who I was going to be hanging out with a lot. I didn't, it was just kind of finally growing up, I think, or like breaking out of my shell when I saw this. And like one of the first, this was a movie that we watched. I got to I went to a buddy's house and watched this movie. Same exact thing. It is a summer movie like that. And like it just set the pace for a good summer.
It did.
It really did. And like
Dazed and Confused kind of.
Yeah. And yeah, the last shot I wanted to talk about was the one of them going hard in reverse, and it's just sitting on his face. What's his name's face in the back seat? It's just sitting on his face, and it's just like, and all you can hear is just like the overdone like squealing tires, and it's just. it's gold, man. This starts out with gold.
You are freaking out, man.
Man. The little children laughter in the ear.
Littering and
littering and
smoking the reefer.
What are you guys gonna do with those dopers you picked up? Whatever.
Shut up, Farva.
Shut up, Farva.
then of course they're like, yeah, what are we gonna do with them? And just the way that this whole thing leads to them chasing them leads to the bar. We meet Womack, and then they fuck with them one last time and start. You guys like Mexico? Title screen. It's like you know exactly what you're in for at this point, and then it's immediate. Now we're in the diner, and it's the first shot of them chugging syrup. Yeah. And which I guess there did actually have syrup in there because it looks pretty real, dude.
They tried iced tea at first with just like a little bit more caramel, I guess, or something in it.
Like thick iced tea.
And they were like, it's not reading on camera the proper way. So they just had an assistant go out and get like 6 bottles of syrup. And they actually did it. I think Jay said he drank 2. And then the other guy he made drink 3. He's like, well, you just didn't quite get it on the other 2. That's what he said.
What a great thing to have the control over that, exactly. And you're also in on the joke. So it's like, I drank 2, but we just didn't get that one on your one shot. So you got to do it alone.
But he also said, he's like, there's a reason why maple syrup is part of the cleanse. Seriously? Because he just like shit their pants.
Yeah. I don't doubt that. I was like, I was watching this, and it's the cuts of how serious they are, and I really love they're I call them the cops shots, where they're like kind of chasing them at different points while they're doing cop stuff, like when they're running into the restaurant in the beginning. They do that, and then it very much does this hard cut of the fun, right? Of like I'm gonna pay you, but I shouldn't. It knows you the whole time. That kind of stuff, very funny. Then you cut to like. They're kind of serious again, and it's 1, 2, 3, do it, and it's them chugging syrup, and we're just back to fun. They're just having fun. And I'll see you're doing it all wrong.
Yeah, relax the jaw, open up the throat.
Open up the throat. Don't forget to cup the bowls. It's like
AJ, I feel like you'd be good at chugging. Well, anything, but specifically syrup.
I feel like I would give it a shot and then be like, yeah, I'm never going to do that again. I hope that was worth the laugh. That's basically what it would be. Maybe not. Maybe if I was like 7 years younger. But it's Rabbit's reaction after he gets it down.
It's almost like that was a take where he actually had it.
He really did nail that down, and you're just like, that's a real shot, right?
Yeah,
there.
It was. Yeah. Jay was like, yeah, it was real.
They were real. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. He was supposed to just like end it right there, but his reaction, wow, was his real reaction.
If we were on a train to go punch a face, I'm on board.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's very tough in this one, but I think my punchable face has always been and has been confirmed as I'll take a chinchilla. The state cop
Smile.
or the city cop.
Is he like
Smile.
the more blonde?
He's red hair, red blonde.
Yeah.
I'll take a chinchilla. Like I think he's
waiter.
He's the one that's like, if you were my wife, I'd take you down a peg or two. That's not what I meant.
She knows to refill the teepee in my house. I'm not your wife.
Because
they think I'm Mexican. You're not,
dude. I can't tell you. I have a friend Antonio. I think he lives out in LA now. But we were great friends, best friends, like high school, and came up. We moved to Cedar Rapids, all that stuff through. And he's Mexican, and like every now and again, we will just break this out for no reason at all. He'll just say, "They think I'm Mexican," and I'm like, "You're not Mexican." He's like, just for no reason. And I think this movie has the most of those moments that I can think of.
Where they throw it out there, and then they're immediately on to the next.
Just
thing.
on to the next thing, and it's extremely quotable. For no reason.
For no reason.
There's no reason for us to say that. Just like we always say in this room, okay, no cream.
Mm-hmm. You know what when you're talking about a line like, okay, no cream, I use that weekly. I've used that weekly for 20-something years, but it's kind of that, it's the big gulps from Dumb and Dumber.
Yes.
It's the, like, when they wrote the line, they're not thinking this is going to be a phenomenon that everyone says.
No.
I think it's just, I don't know, that's really funny, like, okay, no cream, you know.
But quoting Adam Sandler movies is like, how did that stick in the zeitgeist of people who grew up watching it? I mean, I guess there's your answer right there. Is that you're just inundated and you show your friends and those friends show their friends and whatever. But it's crazy how these things stick into your head like this.
Yeah,
it's wild, man. And like, not to lose sight on your punchable face, Mike. Smy is definitely one, but it might be Rando for me.
Which one's Rando? Is he the one at the softball game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's the one at at the charity thing or the bust celebration when he says he says the line and they do a single shot of him going.
But see, I kind of like him for that because
he's such a punchable face. But you're right, Smye is very punchable.
Just because if he were a real person, you would hate him.
You're right.
You might get along with Rando if you were on Rando's side, but you would still hate Smye, even if you were on his side.
Why don't you take your radio and go out into a field?
Yeah, get some field work. And again, it's the another one of these random lines. Sit down, Rando. I'll say that. I'll bust that out just randomly. Sit down, Rando. And he throws it again. And it just pisses him off. I love this shit, man.
I think Mac is completely underrated as the way he delivers this actor to us.
Steve Lemmy is great. I always wanted some sort of a buddy cop movie with him and Thomas Lennon.
Awesome.
I always wanted a buddy cop movie with him and Thomas Lennon.
A Reno 911 Super Troopers crossover.
Oh
Would be so
my
good.
Dude,
God.
I'm saying like those two comedy troops.
Like they go out to Reno after their shop closes and then they start working for them.
Wow. It could be just too much power in one room. Like
you're
seriously.
correct. It might be too much.
But at the same time, you're just like, but then if you can drill it down to two guys out of this and have like Steve Lemmy and Thomas Lennon bouncing their energies off of each other, Thomas Lennon a little bit more of a straight man, whereas Steve Lemmy is a little bit more like Mac in this. Oh, dude, so great. His performance is maybe some of the best delivery, I would say, in this.
We get Brian Cox here, just a welcome sight. I mean, like now he's like an Emmy-winning actor for what's the damn show, Secession, and the voice of McDonald's. You know, he's just kind of everywhere now. You would, if you just became a fan of Secession, had not seen Brian Cox in any other movie, and then you watch this, you're like, what the hell is he doing here?
To be honest, what a get!
Oh my God, yeah.
Brian Cox is an amazing actor, and I mean he's like thespian level stuff, and for him to be in this with these guys is a real treat.
There's some stuff later that I think it might be the best acting of the entire movie from him. That we'll get to.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And then the other chief for the state police, right?
Yeah, that's O'Grady. Or
Yeah,
something.
Grady.
Grady.
Yeah.
He's
So,
O'Hagan and then Grady. Yep.
I guess we'll do Jarrett Layoff Confused Breakfast database later, but he was in Silence of the Lambs.
Yep. And that was our theory that we said that after Silence of the
that's
Lambs, he
correct.
moved on to this job, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Also, a lot of people commented on that video, don't look up what happened to him later in life. And yeah, it's not great. He didn't have a great ending to life. This actor.
no.
So
Okay.
if you want to, that's something you can look up on your own. I'm not
Not
gonna talk about it.
great, and he in his like in a sad way or like a
sad
disturbing way.
Sad and disturbing, probably. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So just throwing it out
Wonderful.
there.
Wonderful.
Scene 2?
Scene 2.
Scene 2.
A few of the troopers show some antics while pulling over a motorist. Then while investigating a murder in a Winnebago, the Sapperbury police and the troopers brawl, and Spurbury police take over the investigation. Foster begins to hit on a local cop named Ursula at the station and a kid's baseball game. Foster and Womack pull over a truck for avoiding a way station, and they're locked inside while the driver flees. Ramathorn and Rabbit rescue them, and they find marijuana packages hidden in the truck's cargo.
Yes.
A little bit behind the scenes, pulling back the curtain, guys. As you're listening to this, we have a summary page that we all share, and like me and Sean can see where these mistypes are. It's a real burden to try and decide whether or not to fix them or just let Mike.
Oh no,
It's great.
I would never do that for him.
And the worse the summary is for anybody at home is how late at night I wrote it. And this was all literally done about midnight while I was falling asleep, trying to get my work done and be like, oh, fuck, I didn't write the summary. Like falling asleep mid-sentence. So yeah, when it's this bad, that's why.
No, it's good.
I love it.
Then Heil.
Then I'll. Anyway, sorry. I think Sean was going to say something.
Oh, just the bar of soap, and like we get more of Farva here, which is like, I think this is what stuck in my head most when watching this with my friend Jordan was the character of Farva. We just thought he was the absolute best, And one of the lines that stuck with me the most was that he puts the bar of soap in the rookie's coffee.
Oh, no.
He's like, holy shit, I got you good, you fucker.
Good, you fucker.
Jesus Christ, dude,
Awesome
calm down.
prank, Farva.
Sing it again, rookie biatch.
Biatch.
No, this is again. I'll keep saying this throughout this entire episode, guys. This is the greatest moment. Rookie biatch, and he's just Farva.
He turns the gun at him. What does that even mean?
To point at Farva. So he's got this loaded gun on his desk that's just sitting there, and he tilts it slightly. Farva. I'm watching your ass, damn it.
It's I want to completely agree with you on Farva, and I want to talk about some particular scenes later to reemphasize that I think Farva's the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
I really think he pulls this entire movie along.
I think he is the Bender factor.
Okay.
And I like to call it the Bender factor. It's what most people would consider the chaos theory of a movie. Bender is the chaos theory of the Breakfast Club, as we discussed. And you don't have this movie without him.
Yep.
Without the disruption.
Yeah, it's just everything goes fine.
Everything would go fine, probably.
I'll be honest too. I'd like to see more Jay Chandrasekhar in the movie, but I know he's directing at the same time too. Because
he's just so good
he's
in
one
this.
of my favorites of this movie. On the rewatch now, I'm just like, wow. Every time he does
so
something,
good.
it's amazing.
He when somebody they're talking about like the natural tendencies of like behind the acting and everything, he's really got those natural tendencies that really shine through. Like when he comes out and he's like when he comes out and he says something like, "Oh," he's like, "I bet you like it. We got a 1092 coming through." He's like, "Rod, you want to take this one?" I bet you do. Amazing stuff. Like it's just so fluid, right? Kevin Heffernan, though, again, him bringing that like chaos and obnoxiousness is so good. And that is a guy I would love to have like a sit down with, or like have like, oh, let's have a beer and like riff. You know what I mean? Kevin Heffernan is hilarious.
When you're so good at a role that you just assume they're probably like that in real life.
Yeah,
probably not.
Yeah,
but you're just so good at pulling it off that you're like, that's him. He will always be that guy.
I think he. I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I feel like I had heard like he's just like such a gem throughout like. But they're all pranksters.
Of course.
You know what I mean? But like he's just like kind of a gem of a human, you know? But yeah, his work in this is great. They yuck him up a lot. The way that they dress him, kind of like clothes that don't quite fit. Things like that here and there. It's pretty damn funny.
Yeah, I didn't get much into like when they were filming on set with this because it was just kind of what the movie is. They just pranked each other the entire time.
Yeah.
And had fun and drank. That's it.
I love this Gaffigan cameo because like Gaffigan really came to prominence in 2000 when that Comedy Central Presents came out.
Yes.
That was like I listened to it for 5 years straight.
Hot Pocket.
That is one of the greatest stand-ups I've ever heard. And so by this point, he's kind of a name to the point where people are like, oh, fuck, it's Gaffigan when he's in the movie. It's a great get. It's a great little cameo. But I love these rewatches because like I never questioned it before, but on this one I did count the meows, and he does 11. Even though he says, "I bet you can't do 10," and at the very end he's like, he's got 9 fingers up.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if this is a misstep, like they didn't know it, or when he says, "Am I saying meow?" You know how Matt kind of goes, he counts it, but he goes, maybe he took that one away because he's like, you just said, "Am I saying meow?"
Yeah.
Right.
That's what
That
I like to
wasn't
think.
in the context of the game.
Because he put the finger up, but then I'm assuming he took it back down. Is
Okay.
why he did say 11, but he wanted the 10th one.
Yeah.
There's no way that's an oversight. I'm going to say that's what happened.
I like that a lot.
I like that a lot. I think it's that, and inside of it, there's a prank inside of a prank of like even to us.
Yeah. He's like, no, he hit 10,
It's
but I wanted him to do one
It's
more.
like I wanted to hear it again.
Oh, shit.
That kind of a thing too.
When he's that shot of him belly laughing, dude.
How does that not make you laugh along with them?
He was like Jim Gaffigan's like,
I know.
but you mean like
I mean,
Foster.
as you're watching.
Yes.
This, you know what I mean. You're watching this. How is that
He's
not
banging on the
Oh, dude, that's that's one of those things that gets you to laugh along with them. And that's the stuff I love. How do you not start If you haven't been enjoying it up to this point,
Infectious.
how do you not? Yeah, how is it not infectious at this point? now?
Talk about quotable lines in movies, man. I think this one transcended probably the most.
Yeah.
Like, did that like to the point where I wonder if like this thing of saying meow in place of now is from this? Like, people just do that?
It has to be.
It has to be. And like
Yeah.
the way they came up with it, they're just like fucking drinking, like in writing sessions and shit, trying to come up with bits for the movie. And just like in a motel room, and because they had no money, and they just randomly did that. Someone just said, "Did you just say meow?" And they just started riffing on this bit the entire night, and they just didn't have any plan for it to be in the movie or to put it as a bit anywhere else. But then like they woke up the next morning and found a note that said "now equals meow," and they're like, "Okay, well we have to put it in here somewhere."
Can you imagine being in that motel room while this is like happening?
Hotboxing and just stinky, wet fucking
Just
dudes.
laughing, probably laughing borderline uncontrollably at the idea of like, oh my God, you just did it again. You did it better than the last time.
Yeah.
Just watching this evolve like that. How good can you make it? You know, that's pretty great. And I also want to compliment who plays Foster.
Yeah.
I can never remember all their names. But I actually love it because he just kind of comes up and pulls this accent. All right, man. Last is
What is so
registration.
damn funny?
Well, what is so damn funny? Man, what?
And when he
You start laughing right, man.
When he pulls his glasses off, like I'm like, oh shit, no, like he pulls it off very well.
It's so good.
And Gaffigan's like the perfect guy to have on there. I did read that like Heffernan didn't want him to be there because Gaffigan kept like getting booked over Heffernan. They were all comedians coming up at the same time, and Gaffigan kept stealing his gigs.
Oh wow,
Dude, that's
Not
kinda
on
funny.
purpose. Like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
not going, I'm going to steal Heffernan's gigs, but Heffernan had a bit of an angry side to be like, God, that fucker always gets the good
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, he's
Paul Soter
unbelievable.
is
Paul Soter, yes, I love Paul Soter. These guys all play their elements so well inside the Broken Lizard like group
Yes.
troop, and you're just it's great.
Speaking of Soder, you get to the game, the softball game, the kids game, and I was looking at the candy, man. Like I thought about taking some of it as a prop. I got a better one later, but he's eating that Fun Dip. God, Fun Dip on screen looks so good. But what was Rabbit eating?
Dude,
It's like a paintbrush candy.
Yeah,
have you
remember
seen
that?
these?
No, I
you
don't
remember
remember
those?
that.
Oh, man.
Go for it.
No, they were just that. It was literally kind of like Fun Dip, but with like a paintbrush thing.
It was the paintbrush was like sucker.
Yeah.
It was like a hard candy sucker.
you dipped it in
not
a
like
gel or something?
Not like the Fun Dip
The stick. Yeah, gross.
No. This is like it was like a ring pop but a paintbrush. And then it had something that you could dip into it.
Yeah.
And
What was Foster eating? He had like a Choco stick or something like
Oh,
that.
it was one of those nerds, or not the nerds ropes, but the Laffy Taffy ropes.
Okay, cool.
yeah.
I love candy in
all
movies,
that, I was
man.
like, oh yeah. I remember going to games I didn't want to be at and eating.
That was how you got to go to those games. Like,
Yeah.
well, can I at least buy something from the concession? Fuck yeah, then I'm in.
I'm down. Like, yeah, getting candy from the concession stand is like the greatest thing ever. Obviously, I love that they just incorporate it into them as adults. That they're just like, yeah, let's go.
Of course.
We're going to support Ramathorn and his son.
Who's on the road right now? Who's trooping the road right now?
True.
You got Rod working the radio, probably just like they have Ursula doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so but the idea of the candy, and then you have Foster, who's like, anyone want a snow cone? He sees Ursula going, and he's like, see if they got any chocolate bananas. Foster? They work in Foster after bananas. And I didn't know if it was a joke or not,
Of
but then I
course.
read like they wanted to work this in. And these are the types of inside jokes that they're okay with just letting wash aside. Doesn't even matter. They don't make it obvious. And like you were saying earlier, Mike, just saying they think it's funny internally to say bananas before or after Foster.
Yes.
That's funny to them.
That's it.
And we're just going to do it.
He tries to take a bite of the rock hard snow cone. He's like, so listen, I had a really good time at the Winnebago fight last night.
Yeah.
The idea that I specifically wrote that down. The idea that they stayed on his face to show him like, because she says, he goes, I hope I don't get brain freeze. And she says, I'm not sure you have the right equipment.
Yeah.
But instead of showing her say not sure you have the right equipment, they stay on him to where he goes,
Yes.
That's a brilliant choice, man.
It's
'Cause
a-
normally it would go back to her to say that and then show him going
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like, but it doesn't. It just stays right on him.
I love it because it's like a subtle it's a subtle way to add to this joke. They want to set it up as this the snow cone is rock hard. We want you to at least see in some way, shape, or form, this thing is rock hard. This is a bad snow cone. As far as snow cones
Yes.
go, it's really, really hard.
And it was-
So that way later on, when he gets it smashed into his
Yeah.
head, it would suck.
And it did suck. Like it was actually rock hard, and like they did it so many times, it was just like he probably had a bruise. You know.
Oh my god!
Weren't they supposed to substitute it with a different one and they
Yes.
just didn't do it? They just forgot.
Those
God.
those are the pranks. You know that those are pranks that they're doing to each other on. This is like it's like Impractical Jokers, like, but they're just doing a movie.
Yes.
You know, they're just running a
How
movie.
much fun they had. We have $1 million to fuck around and
Can
make.
you imagine what we
make
could do
some-
with $1 million?
Somebody
It's so
give
fun.
us $1 million for the
We'll make a
budget.
movie.
We will make a movie. Sean will direct. He'll be Jay.
It'll be fucking awesome.
I'll be Kevin Heffernan. Fine.
Fine.
It's whatever. It's
You gotta
like,
show your piece, man.
well,
we don't have to. But
only if then you're gonna need $1 million and $1 million plus $5,000 for some sort of proper fluffer to make sure this is
Only
goes
$5,000,
okay.
huh?
Or-
Okay.
I don't know how much they cost. You know.
Oh yeah, around there.
Okay.
A good
Around
one.
$5,000.
A good
You
one.
gotta
Well,
fly
that's what I'm
them. You gotta
saying.
fly them
Yeah,
in.
fluffer of
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
kind. Yeah, professional.
Most are in LA.
I need them
with-
professional.
they're
We're not
going through
hiring off
stuff
the
right now. So.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, gross.
they're not hiring off the street here. I need a professional fluffer.
I
I'm
get
married
you.
for God's sake.
So
Okay.
before this is the Winnebago fight where they find, and I do like how they set up like the clue that we're gonna get later too is at the truck stop thing of the was it Johnny Chino
Johnny Chimpo.
Johnny
Chimpo.
Chimpo. The tattoo on the dead girl, and also when they go into the Winnebago, they're touching everything. A murder scene, you know, and it's like not talked about at all. Even the state cops.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like how they once they showed the tattoo, and then you see it again on the marijuana later. I was like, oh, cool. Well, there's actually paying attention to the crux of the film. You know, it's as well as just like every traffic stop is a joke. They're injecting like the overarching plot to the movie.
Something needs to happen to move
Yeah,
this along.
I like
yeah.
it a lot.
These moments of them overtaking every time they have these run-ins with these local cops, right? Oh, got some local smokies on our turf. You guys forget what color your car is? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. When he rolls up, he's got the finger. Bye-bye. I love it so much.
It's the little stuff.
It's the little things, guys, and that just bring comedy over the next level when you're talking about a comedy movie. Why are all these little interactions the best thing ever?
Yeah, even the cut to they get imprisoned into the truck, doors close. Ah, fuck, and then it cuts to 2 hours later. That was the second time I got crabs. Doors open. I mean, you didn't need to put that line in there. You could have just had doors open.
I'm
2
sure
hours
it was
later.
different on every take.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
you-
say something funny, then we'll open the doors.
Yeah, and you know, and again, it kind of brings me back to I wonder how much is ad-libbed in this when you are working with trusted comedy troupe allies.
It has to be.
You know, and it's like work it in. These are the things you got to say. Work around it as your character, and then to have him say something like, "It's like next time, take a minute, blow your head out of each other's asses." And call for backup or whatever. And he's like, well, it's easy for you to say. He's got that tiny little head. Yeah. So what are they hauling here?
Well, even like I love the repeat game where they open up the thing and he's not wanting Mac to play it or whatever. He's like, "Okie silly dokio, I'm an idiot."
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are. Oh, I love that.
It's a nice little touch that because they were distracted by that game is why they weren't being good police officers.
Correct.
And the fact that they both got inside of that truck. I'm sure that's completely against any sort of like parole or whatever, like rules and regulations.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no, one guy stays behind the other guy,
yeah.
but they're just like focused on the game and they get in there, and that's a nice little touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're talking about this too, and they're kind of doing the briefing of, you know, what's going on. So we've got a dead lady, and it's like, and what's this? Bunty Soap. It's a fake company or fake company, fake soap. And he says, what, like plastic soap, like weird scented soap, fake scent soap. No, like the company doesn't exist. Like that could have been a joke. I'm glad it wasn't.
Right. It was just they moved on.
Remember how we've talked about this in another movie where they do that off, like Airplane. Airplane is the perfect example of how soon could we land this plane? Well, I can't tell. Well, you can tell me. I'm a doctor. That's the same. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But we didn't make it a joke.
Yes.
It's nuance, and I love it. I just have to talk about it. But you have Brian Cox. I love that we get these moments of a single shot of Brian Cox playing against the four of them, the 4 or 5 of them sometimes. I love that because you have the grounded Brian Cox, and you're just waiting for him to just break and spaz out on these guys. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, scene 3, the troopers pull over and arrest a German couple, and Chief Grady refuses to work together with O'Hagan on figuring out the drug problem. Rabbit tries to pull a prank, but it goes wrong, taking him off duty and putting Farva back in. Foster and Ursula begin a relationship, which leads them to find some hidden weed in the impounded Winnebago. I did want to mention this. So a couple years ago, the Pork Tornadoes were playing on this thing called Ragbri, where it's this giant bike ride across the state, and they have these state troopers, Iowa State troopers, who follow the ride the entire way, basically pushing people forward, like keep going, don't stop. They're like a sag wagon of sorts. And every night they stay in a hotel. We played that night, and we pulled up to the hotel at 2 a.m., and these state troopers were in their hotel after a long day. And they had like sold their rooms or done something wrong with it, and they didn't have rooms for these guys. And we walked in, we're like, oh shit, yeah, hey man, they gave us 4 rooms. We're actually only going to need 1 because a couple guys went home. Me and Mason, we can bunk up in that king bed. Who cares? And so we gave them our hotel rooms, and they're like, oh man, we're so thankful for that. And so we said, well, if you want to come down and have a couple of beers, like we're kind of winding down. Like 8 of them came down and partied with us for about 3 more hours. Then last year, we met up with them again and did the same thing. They're some of the coolest dudes I've ever met, all state troopers. And I did ask them, I said, 4 questions. As state troopers, is this basically required watching? They said it should be required watching because it's just that hilarious. Like basically they all know it. They all love it. I said, do you love the movie? And it is quoted all the time. They said meow always comes up. Like they always say meow in their quotes. I asked if they hate city cops. He said, no hatred for city cops, but there is fun banter between friends who work at other agencies. Probably like giving each other a hard time more than anything. And I did ask, do you play games like they do? And they said, sadly, no. Like times have changed quite a bit to where you gotta pay attention. We're not playing games during traffic stops.
Oh, no, they're not. No. Especially at way stations. I will tell you that.
Man.
Hey, sounds like you got a Patreon story too, Sean.
Oh, a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, some of them are nice. Some of them. Some of them.
Yeah, these guys are. Shout out to those Iowa State troopers. We love those guys.
That's awesome. I've got a buddy who's from high school. I think he's a state trooper now. I don't know where he's at though. But it makes sense. He's a state trooper. I don't know. I think the German couple. This seems really out of left field to me. Maybe out of anything, but I understand why it's got to be here for kind of later on.
Kinda, but does it really?
Only for the fact, well, okay. I mean, I guess Rabbit could have taken any random car, right? Why did it have to be this, like, why did they have to do the stop with the German couple, this apparently stolen Porsche?
Yeah.
And then, that's the only thing that kind of got, I was like, well, this is out of left field.
This is early 2000s, so there had to be an excuse for boobs. There has to be tits in a movie.
Nice.
In early
Okay.
2000s R-rated movies.
Respect.
So this is where you get the girl involved. To now we get the tits.
It's awesome.
Yeah. The German guy was the referee in Beer Fest, if you remember him.
Oh, yeah.
That guy's awesome.
All tied up.
Very
you know
big,
what that means.
very big fan of both of these, but
Yeah.
you're right. The scene in general doesn't really do it for me upon this rewatch, and then they really don't have anything to provide for the rest of
They
this.
set up for a joke later, which is pretty funny,
Yep.
but that's kind of about it.
Yeah, and it's it's one of those moments that I think back. I'm like, I remember being younger and watching this part. Mm-hmm. Yep, I get it.
Yep.
Fair enough.
I remember being 33 and watching this yesterday.
Feeling sorry.
Why does that happen to me?
Sick.
This never happens to me.
There was another subtle joke that I never picked on until this rewatch, that every time they're calling in something, they're calling in a license plate, they never use the proper phonetic alphabet.
Yes.
8 Donna eunuch. You're like, those Donna and eunuch are not the terms.
And they're not good terms either.
Donna eunuch. You're
Like
like,
Farva's
no.
like, okay. Like, he's just like, whatever.
I wonder if that's why they're doing it, because they know Farva is on the radio.
Oh, shit. Okay.
That's why they
Okay.
do it. They just mess with him. Like even Mac earlier, he says, Tijuana, oneer, niner. Like,
Those are not, no.
and he's like, that license plate belongs to Spurberry Police. It does? Oh my God.
Noted.
Very funny, Unit 91. Thanks, radio.
Don't call me radio.
Don't call me Unit 91. Yeah.
Subtle stuff like that is why it's so funny to me.
Yeah.
Even the enhance. How many times do you guys say that
No, it's
when you're on a
Enhance.
computer?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought for sure that this was one of those moments that it was just some dumb line and they made it part of pop culture. But is that a Blade Runner reference?
yeah.
For sure, right?
correct.
Like it has to be when Harrison Ford was.
Jay said that's where they got it. Yeah.
That's brilliant. That you can take something from something older, reinvigorate it, and then just almost, because no one was quoting Harrison Ford in Blade Runner.
No.
But they take the same thing and now we quote it every time you're on a computer.
Enhance.
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 So good.
Just print the damn thing. Just driving Brian Cox nuts.
I
like
love how he looks at him too. He's enhanced. Enhanced.
I'm not done yet.
Like, how long can I get away with this?
print the damn thing. It's like a tired father.
God.
Is this where the rookie, what's his damn name?
Rabbit.
Sorry, takes the car.
Yes.
Yeah, I love. We cut to Farva at the gas station, and it's like $10, right?
Gets a free hot
And
dog.
he just dumps it out in the trash. Just like,
How much
fuck.
further did he have to go? Was he like
40 cents?
40 cents or something?
I mean,
he just
I'm not saying he's right. And his face when he comes out with the hot dog, pure satisfaction.
Yeah.
Like that was the greatest move I've
Dude,
ever
it
made.
he's
reminded
like,
me-
this was smart.
it reminded me of my friend Jacob. Like, he would do something like that, and I would love him for it.
Oh, dude. God, you're right. Like, just you would figure out something. You couldn't just try topping that Z28 IROC Z28 off.
Beautiful machine. God damn.
Oh, it's great.
How about I got one.
Ooh, here's a prop.
This was pretty easy, and I'm hoping I'm stealing this from you guys. But we've gotten into the Foster Ursula relationship. Foster gets out there and is doing he's so bulgy. He's like a moose.
So bulgy.
So funny. Another reason why I love Foster so
Yes.
much. But Ursula's voice machine. I want one of those to walk around
yeah.
with. It's like, baby, I'm a butter your
You want the
bread.
one from this and not Scream.
No, I want the one from this.
Hell yeah.
Yes,
And you
yes.
want this and not the talk boy from
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, I want this one. Mostly because Ursula touched it.
There you
Yeah,
go.
man.
'Cause
There you go, bro.
She's cute.
Yeah, she's
she's
Heck
super
yeah,
cute.
dude.
I like her.
All right, cool.
pretty cute.
We got prop.
One of the state trooper hats.
Oh,
Yeah.
You'd look good in one of those,
Thank
man.
you.
You'd have to shave beard off and just go mustache. though.
That's my weakest point.
Yeah,
My
but I think
mustache.
you'd look good if you take away the beard. Then it's not your weakest point anymore.
All right. Well, thank you for saying that.
You're
I don't.
welcome.
I don't like it. but-
I want to mention it, but last week AJ shaved his off, and I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Didn't like looking at you without a mustache. So
Sorry, man.
It looks like your facial hair grows pretty quick because it's kind of back.
Is it getting back for you guys?
Yeah.
You guys
Didn't
getting
like it.
comfortable with it? You know, I miss shaving. Okay, I miss shaving.
What a weirdo.
You miss it,
Oh yeah, a fresh shave is one of the greatest things ever.
and that's why this week's episode is brought to you by Manscaped. No, it's not.
No, but it could be.
It could be if you want it to be. No, my prop. I think you know what. I think I'm just gonna take. I'm gonna take the. Although it was a scene I didn't quite understand being here, I want the feather.
Bing, bow, be
Yeah.
down, bing, down, be down,
Wow,
wow.
wow, wow.
Went up to go to the bathroom
Knock it off.
when that was happening. I'm just like, what the fuck? Am I liking this?
That's what makes me like that dude so much. He's like,
If I have something my wife could do for you. This is a bit problem for me. It's like it makes me wonder, is he really German? I don't know. But
no, they call him a Dutch couple, don't they?
No. It's they're German, but in the German version of this, they had to change it to Dutch.
That's what they had to do.
Because I think the only thing, I think truly the only thing, if you're from America, you think of like, oh, who are the weird Europeans?
Yep.
If the only thing that could be weirder than German is probably Dutch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So where are you gonna go if you're gonna do a German dub? The Dutch.
Speaking of them,
All right.
they set that
I get it.
the joke up of like, stop jumping on the bed. You
Yes.
think it's their kid?
Pretty good.
It's
Like,
great.
can't they stay a little longer? Oh, all right.
All
Who
right.
wants a mustache ride? That's funny, and you get tits. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
you get.
I
this.
would fun.
They're
I would fun.
I would fun.
He's very open. I like him as a character. He's open to it. He's like, I'll take a mustache ride.
They're just there to have fun,
They're
man.
just there to have fun,
All
man.
right? Germans are great people. They're great people. Met some people out there when I was in Germany. They're great people.
Is that why you shave your mustache off?
Maybe. No. But I also really like that because there's like breadcrumbs that Ramathorn and his girlfriend,
Yeah.
they're like in an open-ish relationship. And there's the questions of it that are going on. And they ask, he's like, Mom ever have anybody you call uncle come over?
Yeah.
Like Uncle Fred? Who's Uncle Fred? So it's like this weird thing that like, oh, they have an open relationship, or do they? And then you see that German couple.
Oh yeah, very open.
Very funny.
Yeah, and that's like this thing too, where like it may be a negative of the movie of that them being here, or like this scene kind of like not being that great, but I do like how it's like a reoccurring thing of like they're always in the jail like hanging out. Like he even comes and watches the Johnny
Chimpo.
Johnny
Chimpo
cartoon.
thing later, and I think that's funny is having that
Yes.
reoccurs. Like, why are they still here?
And aren't we investigating why they stole a car? We don't know anything
Yeah,
about it.
it's like,
nor
who
do we.
cares? They're awesome. They have sex with all of us. That's awesome.
That's fine. It's like, I know you have big, beautiful brown lips. I don't know. You got Lemmy again, who's just like, well, maybe you missed something. No, there's nothing there, man. Well, maybe we should take another look at the cartoon. And then it just cuts to them all smoking weed and bush.
Yeah, so good.
It's funny shit.
All right, scene 4. Farva's antics on the duty cause major problems for the state troopers. After an idea from Ursula, the troops break into the Winnebago to steal the hidden weed and impress the visiting governor. But Grady beats them to it. The troopers expect to be shut down, so they go out partying and find out that Farva ratted.
One thing I really like about when, especially Brian Cox, is in the station, is they try and frame him as many times as they can behind like the moose or like the deer, so he looks like he has horns. It's just like I noticed that, and I'm like, wow, this is happening frequently. Like every chance they got, they did that.
They're doing this on purpose.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if they told him about that, if they let him in on that, or if they just let him see it in a cut. Like when he finally ended up maybe watching this movie, or he went to the premiere or whatever, and you just have, it's like, no, Brian, move just a little bit. Perfect. Thanks, man. Appreciate
Thanks,
that.
no,
that's
that's-
better.
I
All right.
really
All
like
right.
the way
Everybody
that's
ready
gonna-
now?
yep.
All right. Great. And then Brian Cox just shows up like, these fuckers. They put me in front of moose antlers all the time. What the fuck?
Hey, let me watch that scene back. No, we're good. We got it. We're moving on to the
No,
next
it was
one.
perfect. You
It
did
was
great,
perfect, dude.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
nailed it.
They're constantly doing pranks and stuff. Like even the soap, I guess, was like,
It's supposed to be chalk. That wasn't a prank.
and that wasn't. Well, no, I'm not saying it was a
yeah,
prank.
yeah.
But Brian Cox, he did get it. Part of it was him getting so fed up, and he ended up taking a bite of the soap. But it turns out it's like white chocolate.
And he's diabetic.
And he's diabetic, and then he did get pissed.
Very mad.
He was not happy about it. It's like, well, you could kill him. I don't know. So I guess he has a right to be upset. But then they had to go find like an alternative soap for another cut.
Yes. So this whole entire scene, I mean, Farva's been incredible leading up to this, but pretty much from this point on, he carries the movie, in my opinion. I mean, he gets put back on assignment. that look when they're like, Farva, you're back on. And he goes, yes. And he's smiling while everyone else is pissed in the background. The car ramrod scene, hey, look out for these guys. You know, all the shit he does during that scene. And then, and we'll dive into each of these, but then when he moves on to the burger, the Dippus burger, guys, I don't know. Upon rewatch, I think if Farva is not in this movie, and specifically it's not Hefferman, I don't think this is a movie. I don't think anybody watches this and it does not become a cult classic without Farva. I just think, especially you watch from this point of the movie on, it's just pure gold.
You need this character here for people to latch on and stick with your movie as it's getting into like Act 3. You need something to change. You need a dynamic change to put Farva back on the road, and it's Kevin Heffernan, and let the chaos of him and let that ensue when all the guys are kind of at the point of nearly getting on board of trying to play this a little straighter and stop with the games and stuff like that. Even you get him just as a wrecking ball, just comes and just breaks this down. It's so good.
They almost build his character up to this moment too.
Yes.
To he's like released or like back
because
on.
we don't know what
Hey,
he's
Charlie's
been like
Angel.
up until this point.
All we've heard is, and all we've seen is like he's kind of an asshole and doesn't really fit in, I guess. But then we heard why he was kicked off the road or whatever, or is suspended on the radio,
Right.
the school bus incident. It's like, what the hell could that be? You know, and then like it builds it up to this, and he's like, well, you're back on the road now. He's unleashed, like as you said. It's just like, oh my god.
They even describe it perfectly, you know. But our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah.
Farva's are cruel and tragic, and it's like that's a very good
shenanigans.
It's a very, very good description of like they just don't even want to be around him because they're like, what's he gonna fucking do next? The chicken fucker scene, that was his actual parents in the car.
Dude.
That was his actual parents in the car.
Kevin Heffernan's
Kevin
parent?
Heffernan's parents.
Oh my god.
Were in the car
They
when
were
he said chicken fucker.
extremely thrown off guard by that. Yeah.
They knew, they said he's going to say something rude to you,
Yeah.
but they didn't tell him what he was going to say.
All those, dude, it's all those things, and it's anything that they can do to put Farva back into the line of sight and back into the crosshairs of a joke of just anyone else, the burger people, you know, like
This is the best.
yeah, it's like fourth wall level of like, or layered levels of like, put him in the crosshairs. We want to make jokes about him. Next guy who says shenanigans, I'm going to pistol whip. What's that place you like with all the shit on the wall? You mean shenanigans? Great. Like, make another joke about Farva. Let's put him in the line of fire against like getting pissed off at the burger guy.
It's for a cop.
And you barely hear the guy in the background answering him on the radio.
Roger.
Got it, Roger. It's for a cop.
Rash.
That
Roger.
little anecdote about that guy too is that that's like Jay Chandrasekhar's like favorite performance of the movie. Is
The main dude,
the burger clerk, and
It's only 25 cents.
yeah, he was like in Hollywood, just like outside of like a improv theater or something like that. And Jay walked up to him and was like, "Hey man, are you an actor?" He's like, "I guess." He's like, "Perfect." Well, and he hired him for a TV show that they were doing.
Oh, wow.
Really loved him on that, and so he cast him in this movie, and was just like, I just liked his attitude a lot. Just like, dude, he's like didn't really give a shit about much, but he was really funny.
It translates really good in this performance of it, because to just honestly also to fuck with a cop like in uniform at your job like that is pretty damn ballsy. You have to either have balls or not give a shit.
Yeah.
And he comes across as, I just don't give a shit. You sure you don't want to upsize for a Dimpus size for 20? It's only 25. No, I said no.
I'll tell you what, the older I get, though, the more I understand that. Like, I don't care if it's 5 cents more.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
Give me a medium. I don't want the large or the extra. It's like when you go for you're just having like one happy hour beer meeting a client, and they're like, what's 2 for 1?
2 for 1s.
It's like, well, no, I don't want it. But they're like, but you have to have it. It's the second one. No,
just
I don't
You're
want
gonna
it.
pour it out, man. Dog, don't give it to me.
You're going to pour it out either way at this point.
Fine, I'll give it to the other guy. Well, you can't do that. You have to physically drink both of these. I'm like, no.
Where are these rules written? Where are these rules written? Please show them to me. Please move that gigantic cotton candy. Love that so much.
Even then he gets sent to the prison. He's getting deloused with it's powdered sugar. It's delicious.
It's delicious.
Like, my child literal brain would still just be like, oh, they use like powdered sugar to delouse? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, of course they do.
His reaction of saying, it's delicious. And then he's like, good. Listen, Rod. It's just...
even when he walks out, he's naked. He's like, "Sup, Charlie's
Hey, Charlie's
Angel?"
It's like, dude, you are in no position. The absolute confidence of Farva. If I had that confidence, man, maybe I would just be maybe I'd be better for it. Who knows?
Yeah.
To be able to walk out there covered in powdered sugar with
Naked.
barely anything covering
Overweight.
Yeah. And you're an absolute shit show to say, hey, Charlie's Angel. Jesus, dude.
One of my favorite things too of him, I forgot to say, was when he is released and put back on the road or whatever. The captain says, "Now, Farver, you can't fuck this up. Take 10 seconds and some deep breaths. 10 deep breaths.
Take 10 deep breaths. Got it.
Loud and clear, Captain." No, you don't have it.
No, you did not catch it. Dude, what do you mean? Come on, guys. It'd be fun. We'll switch partners. Do we look like the stupidest guys on here?
I do have a question for you, though. I still don't understand this line, and it's one of the most quoted lines of the movie, and I still don't get it. They're at the gun range, and he's like, "How you shooting today? Look at this, pretty good." He's like, "Well, what about that little guy? That little guy?
That little guy?
Wouldn't worry about that little guy."
I wouldn't worry about that little guy.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
What are they joking? Is there a joke? Is there a
don't know.
reason that he shot it there, or is there literally no reason for that?
I think it's just to add to the fact that what they're doing is ludicrous. And if you're not Martin Riggs, then you shouldn't be firing that gun. Nobody should be firing a loaded gun at a nut cup,
Yes.
a bulletproof nut cup.
Yes.
But the fact that we also have him say, what about this one? What about here? Oh, that little guy? Wouldn't worry about that little guy. And him saying, good enough for me. You're my man now. Good enough for me.
Don't worry about that little guy. Means like, oh, he's Deadeye.
Yeah.
Like out of 24 out of 25 shots.
Who knows?
Gotcha.
But the 1 out of 25, not sure.
Yeah.
Not sure, man.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
It's like, and
No one got away from me. It's like, well, I'm wearing nothing else.
I love that they don't address it. You know,
Yep,
and
move on.
I do, and they move on, and it's like good enough for me. It's like, is it good enough? And then he's just standing there. He gives that. What a silly thing to say. What an amazingly framed shot of a man wearing a bulletproof nut cup. Just 2 thumbs up. It's just a funny thing. And then Brian Cox coming through when Rabbit's wearing the thing, or it's like we were blanks in the gun. You're a sick fuck, Mac. You're just like, thanks, Cap.
It's a badge of honor for him.
It is. It's so good. He's the crazy one.
Did you read about where they shot that at? That's
Oh, yeah.
maybe one of the most interesting things I've read about this movie. They shot that scene right outside of a prison. I guess there was where there's a prison fence, like a yard where prisoners are at, and then right next to it is probably a gun range for cops. And so that whole entire time where they were filming, and he's naked wearing a nut cup, the entire fence line is lined up with prisoners yelling at him.
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Just like hooting and hollering.
Yes.
Man,
How could you perform with
Good
that
thing,
going
good
on?
thing that cup's on, bro.
Maybe it helped
Damn.
him perform better.
Maybe.
You know, in a way.
Gave him some confidence.
Yeah, where he's just like, I guess it can't get any worse.
And I also love how they make choices that normal movies would not make. Like in this scene, one of 2 things would have happened. They've all got their earplugs, their earwear on when they're shooting. If this was another movie, they either would not have been wearing ear protection, so that it just would have looked normal, or they would have wore the ear protection and like overdubbed their lines so it was at a normal volume. But they were screaming their lines when they had their ear protection on. that you don't even know. It's just a subtle thing, but they're yelling, talking back and forth to each other, which makes no sense in any other movie except for this one.
You know what? Thinking back, you're right. It's like, Mac, you still got that costume? Oh yeah, you don't throw away a perfectly good.
Exactly, right?
They're screaming.
But
at
normally
each other.
that's just an overdubbed line at a normal volume.
I love it.
Yeah, or they're just not wearing it.
Yeah.
I love that shit. This was also the scene where you get the bear fucker.
Oh yeah.
And I did want to at least bring this up. The greatest Halloween costume I've ever seen in my life was a fellow by the name of Jay Johnston. Good friend of mine. 2 years later, he had his mom make him a bear fucker costume. I will find the photo and post it to our Patreon.
Oh man.
It was, he could have literally worn that for the rest of his life and cleaned up every single Halloween costume that he went to, because it was full outfit, full stuffed bear that he carried around with him. Unbelievable.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you know what? Speaking of jokes on top of their jokes, or I guess we'll call it pranks on top of their jokes, is like they didn't have to go. You when you look at Rabbit in this costume, they kind of went full out even on some makeup for him, like a missing tooth.
They really did.
And you're just kind of you're just like, you didn't have to do that, but it's funny. Like, I don't know, it's just a little addition.
One of my favorite, speaking of costumes, one of my favorite bits of this movie I never noticed before in my entire life.
Oh, please tell me.
They show up at the date.
Yes.
Undercover.
Yes.
He's like, oh, bikers. I'm an idiot.
So
good.
Once again, guys, my favorite line of this fucking movie is that.
It's a lot of it's Foster's delivery too.
Yes.
And because Ursula shows up, she's
ridiculous.
and she's like, you didn't get it. And he's like, he looks ridiculous. So tight. And he's even got his bike there, I think. It's like, he's got a bike.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, biker. I'm an idiot.
She should have just said 80s tribute band
Yeah.
instead of biker. That would have made more sense. Say 60-year-old in an 80s tribute band.
I didn't like, even leading up to it when they sat down. I'm like, what the fuck? It's just like their undercover costumes. He's like, oh, bikers. I'm like, oh, bikers.
Seen it 10 times and never realized
it is my favorite fucking thing. Oh my God, yes.
One more before scene 5. Again, why if you watch this, let's say you're listening and you just want to watch 30 minutes of this movie. Rod Farva, when it's the open bar, dude. Give me 6 schlitches. Fuck it, whatever's free. Him acting like that is every person you've ever seen at an open bar wedding.
Of course.
And he is perfect at displaying that.
The cross cutting, the cross frame cutting too. And he's just like chugging beers, and one of them is him just like, it's so fucking funny.
And it's him going to town on this toilet. It is him screaming at this thing, calling dinosaurs, the whole 9. He is just going to town, and it's really him just
he
puking.
actually
it's
puked,
not,
right?
It's not, yeah. He actually puked, and I can't remember. I don't know what they did to make him do that necessarily, but he was really doing it.
Chug some syrup, maybe.
Oh,
There you go.
God.
Well, final scene 5. Ursula offers to help them and directs them to one of the drug-running trucks. Despite running into Farva, they find out that the city cops are working with the illegal drug smugglers. They intervene, and despite saving the day, their station is still shut down. 3 months later, it's revealed that they are Spurbury police officers, having replaced their corrupt predecessors. Here's the scene I was talking about with Brian Cox.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if in the history of movies anyone has acted drunk better than him.
I absolutely agree with you.
When he goes to kick the flamingo and like misses it, the only thing I can think of is that he's actually drunk, because it is so spot fucking when he goes, he's not home.
Yeah.
Like everything about him in this scene is incredible.
Grady, get your ass out here. Like that kind of yelling that he's doing, this just like uncontrolled holler kind of a thing.
Yes.
It is. It's very spot on. And even when he's like, especially when he comes up to it's like, let's pull somebody over.
Yes. Oh, dude.
And he says, license and registration.
the way he looks around, he's like, license and registration, please. It's like so real.
When you gotta go, you gotta go. Jeez, dude. You're right. I mean, he pulls out like, it looks like a bottle of like Johnny Walker Black or something out back from back there or something. And he's like, man, you know that Grady, it kind of just goes to show, I think, that, or not Grady, O'Hagan. O'Hagan was he was one of these guys back in his day, kind of a thing.
Of course.
And obviously he's the one who grew up and he stayed there and they continued on, right? And became the old guy, you know? But he pulls that bottle out and he's like saying, you guys are friends. It's like, who wants a shot? I'll take one. I said, who wants a shot? It's like, I love that. I love that. He's like, no, let's go, you idiots.
I'm phrasing it like a question, but this is a statement.
This is a statement now.
You're all getting shots.
You're all getting shots.
Even Mac, dude, like he pulled it off when they were in the woods, kind of looking at the drug bus. When it's such a yes. When he was the one that would talk, he'd go, "Well, where are we gonna do it?" Like he shushed himself. He does it 3 to 4 times. We've all been there, where you're the one talking loud.
You're the one being loud,
like,
and you have to shush yourself.
Wait. Maybe it is so hard.
Or like swearing in front of kids or something. It's like, fuck.
Duck.
Duck.
I mean,
It's just like it is one of those typical of the early 2000s where these movies, the once you get to this end, it's just like the movie's just gonna end. Like it just ends because nobody really cares. I don't care how this movie ends. I don't care what happens with the drug bust. I don't care how unrealistic all the stuff they're like, well, like it's an Afghan, it's coming from Afghanistan and it's going to Canada. It's like, I don't even care. I didn't even want to like break it down to be like, well, wait, why are they in the? It's just, it ends, and that is all I cared about. It's a short movie, get it over with.
It's
fine.
just the through line that the movie has to ride, and like it kind of goes in and out of that line, and then but like, you know, you need that to carry the movie. You can't just be bits over and over and over again, even though like maybe I might even prefer that.
Yeah.
And I only pay attention to those parts. So.
I agree with you. I want it to wrap up. It maybe sure, yeah. It is. There is a point in this, and I probably think it just because I've seen it so many times that I was kind of like, I could probably turn this off now at this point in my rewatching. I could probably turn it off now. But I'm going to let it ride. Why not? I am going to let it ride. I want to say, we haven't really mentioned it much, but this part where they have the brawl, this last brawl with like the drug dealers and the cops, we haven't mentioned like the music. And the music to me is good. I'm not saying it's like, oh, it's like the best soundtrack ever. It's great. It's super fun. But these songs are like, they get stuck in my head. Like this song in particular, Big Bear, he's iron tough. Like, funny song choice. It's just a proper song choice.
It's like the music they would choose for Jackass skits.
Yes.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And those were great. You'd never heard them before in your life, but you're like, this is a great song.
Like the song in the opening chase scene where they're chasing Mac. It sounds like a more edgy Offspring kind of guitar driven, like it's like it's just fun.
Yeah. It's like 2000s era. There go them boys again. What's the fucking show?
Dukes of Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard.
It's the 2000s version of that.
Good call.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and again, even the song at the end credits. So doing your job and quit.
Yeah,
it's like it's just fun. It's just a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying this part of the movie. I like the fights. I think the fight scenes are great in this movie. You know, I'm having a good time.
Yeah. And another great line by Farva is when they're driving his car with the sex doll on. He's like, "There's my car. That's my girl.
That's my girl."
I like that he wrote her name on there.
Can we just
I mean, you don't have to write someone's name on a sex doll.
Can we just say, like the level of weirdness that takes?
Yes.
Now is to write the name with like a marker shittily somewhere on this so you can see it.
You can't think it, you got to see it.
No, you got to see it because apparently you're going to forget who you're trying to think about or like what you're trying to think about. It's like sadistic to write a name on
So
this.
Farva, it's not a sex doll. That's his girl.
That's his girl.
And she has a name.
I mean, look at the case he keeps it in.
Yeah.
That's like something you handcuff to yourself in like a drug deal.
Jesus Christ.
Like it's pretty intense. I love it. I think it's fun. Brian Cox again, drunk enough to kick your ass. He's just getting his sleeves. This is. Can I get a cut side by side of like or like a cut together of O'Hagan doing this and he's about to fight Henry Cavill in Mission Impossible? And Same energy.
Yeah.
Same energy for me. You know.
It's still great when just showing his acting chops when he reads the letter and he's got everybody happy, and then we regret to inform you. Signed, Governor Fuckhead. You know, like it's just perfect acting on his part. I love the end when it still kind of fooled me. It's been a while since I saw this.
Yeah.
I forgot that they
Same.
were still state troopers at the very end. Like I forgot that they still got shut down. It's just an easy way to wrap this movie up. And it's a funny way. I wish more movies would still do outtake stuff on the credits, on the outro credits.
And the cast of characters ending, I'm always
It's
a
the
fan
best.
of. It's amazing. Yeah, I love seeing the guys from the beginning again for this prank, and it's such a great prank too.
It's so
and then
good.
it's just they're partying with them. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fucking fun.
It's fun. I mean, the obvious joke at the end, Saint Anky beer. That's fucking funny. Stanky beer. Come on. Why do you don't have to do this?
Yeah, I got that. I already knew that. I got that.
Oh, you already knew that?
yeah, I got that.
Okay.
I picked up on that. It's pretty obvious.
That's super obvious. Have you ever seen the movie? But it's just like one little thing on there that they were able to work into the budget, and like and them just now playing games while this music is going on. I'm enthralled until we get the bus scene. So you know, we get the bus footage. Perfect way to end it. I think that was a perfect way to end it. I'm so glad they brought that through joke around to close it out.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really well done.
Totally.
Porn name, obviously, you could either go Pooper Troopers or Super Poopers.
Super poopers.
Super Poopers. You know, Super Poopers implying that it's the great ass.
She's got
Super
a
pooper.
super pooper.
Let me tell you.
But Pooper Troopers would be more like maybe Star Troopers, you know, like you could incorporate that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that could be a crossover.
I like it.
But
Cool.
adventures.
But adventurers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that.
Oh man.
Okay.
Well, we have dissected Super Trooper with a modern eye. Time to give it a modern day rating. AJ, going to you. What do you think about this, man?
Man, this is a funny movie. Broken Lizard movies to me kind of fall around. I think of them in ways of like the Coronado trilogy. You know, it's like this same group of people making this movie, and they make lots of different movies. Other funny movies. Beer Fest is another enjoyable movie. I'll be excited when we get to do that. But I think it was Derek in our Little Lebowski thread, the exclusive thread, that he said this ran so Beer Fest could run. And I do believe that. I think this is a great movie. I think it's got the proper amount of like rough around the edge. I think the jokes are so on point, and their delivery, nobody delivers jokes like Broken Lizard, for better or for worse. I'm not saying that they're better than everyone. I'm saying that nobody delivers jokes like them. And that was something we talked about a lot in the episode. That being said, super funny. I love all the characters. I love it's just a fun movie. I could probably turn this movie off with about 20 minutes left. So I'm looking for it. I would say I'm going to give this it's an 8.15.
Dang.
8.15 for the age.
I think it's that good.
Damn. Okay. Sean, what about you?
Yeah, I think it's super entertaining, and I can't wait. I haven't seen Club Dread. I actually haven't seen Beer Fest.
Whoa.
I really I want to get into it. I know Club Dread's like the kind of slasher movie of theirs.
I'm surprised you haven't seen that.
surprised
I've
you haven't.
always seen it on the racks at the rental store and never bit the bullet and just got it.
I watched it because it was Broken Lizard, but didn't even know I was getting myself into.
Yeah, I think I'm going to watch it tonight. I'm just interested in it. And I think Jay Chandrasekhar is a good director. I think he's done a shit ton of TV. He did the Dukes of Hazzard remake, or movie. But I think it's totally fun. I think a lot of the parts still hold up. This isn't like one of my favorite comedies of all time or anything, but if it's on like a Sunday afternoon kind of thing, it's enjoyable. I'm going to give this a 6.5.
6.5 for Sean. I'm kind of where you are, Sean. Like, I loved this movie. It doesn't necessarily age terribly too well. Not because it's got like bad stuff in it. Just that it's just relying on funny little jokes. The plot's just garbage. Who cares? But at the same time, it's so goddamn funny that you have to give something to it for what it's injected itself into the zeitgeist of all the quotes we use. Yeah. But I did look back. I mean, comedies are hard, especially these early 2000 comedies where I'm looking at a movie like Road Trip. I almost think Road Trip is almost a better movie than this overall. It's got the funny jokes, but it's almost got a better plot than this one does. But at the same time, because of Farva, for the most part, I think this has to elevate itself. It's not as good as a movie like Role Models. Role Models is one of those almost perfect comedies of this same genre. So I got to throw it somewhere around like a 6.6, I think, for me. Like, and nothing against this movie. It is what it is. If you're judging it against the movies we've judged it against, it can't be a 10. You have to be honest with yourself. But it's still freaking one of the best, funniest movies of all time.
And I think it's a shame they don't make movies like this anymore.
Yes.
Like, there's no like comedy troops getting comedy deals, and I wish that would happen more. Right. I wish like this was a bankable thing, because comedies we're getting nowadays are just fucking trash, to be honest. It's just,
they're not of the same caliber.
They're not
pushing,
silly.
Yeah, they're not silly. They're not pushing boundaries as much as they could be, probably. And I like that. And it's done so much for us, though, like in the idea of like what it's given us for jokes.
And I actually think I haven't watched it in a long time, but I'm actually wondering if Beer Fest is better. I'm actually honestly wondering that, and I'm excited. I think we should do that movie, because
I can't wait to do that movie. I think it is where they have it really shows some great chops and progression.
Brian, you're saying 13 meows? There were 13 meows in the movie?
Oh,
14.
You're counting our meows.
Counting our meows.
Well, we do got to check Laura Berkmeyer.
Now,
Laura, what did she have to say modern day? She said, so I watched this movie again on a plane to Vegas, and I have to say it totally holds up. For a movie made in the early 2000s, it's shocking that this happened to stay hilarious without aging itself with homophobic jokes or using the R word or similar cringeworthy comedic devices.
Good point.
I agree. Great point, Laura. I mean, yeah, it's got some raunchy humor, but nothing I wouldn't watch with my parents. I mean, let's look at all the quotable moments. Snozberries taste like snozberries. He's already pulled over. You can't pull over
anymore.
Do eat. The laugh after throwing the syrup. Hee hee, and two guns.
That's a lot of dimp.
Nimbly bimbly from tree to tree. Well, hello, Shirley. Good enough to fuck your mother. I am drunk enough to kick your ass. So many funny moments that I literally laughed out loud amongst strangers on my flight. They were probably thinking, why is this bitch watching an old AF movie and writing notes? I have to give Brian Cox an award for best attitude. Dude has been in some of the best dramas of our time, and he still did this ridiculous comedy and the sequel and wore a Canadian tuxedo in a perfectly ply-matched character costume. Excuse me. And by the way, is he not the best actor ever at acting drunk? Maybe he was method acting. Some of my favorite moments are near the end of the movie when they deliver the St. Anki keg and then reveal that they are now local cops. Classic. Dude running away and hitting Farva like a wall. Peak comedy. Which, by the way, that weird dude, Jeffrey Arend, was married to Christina Hendricks for a long time.
Oh.
Like, what? And as a theater kid, I have to give props to the Grease reference as weird dude goes full cha-cha Dagajorio. I've never seen Grease, guys. Before the drag race, scarf and all, deep cut right there. My prop is actually that keg of St. Anki beer, because I'm sure as shit it's delicious, even with the foam. Can we talk about the foreshadowing for Beer Fest, even if unintentional? Farva chugging beer like it was his job, which I remember seeing some behind-the-scenes info that he was actually throwing up for shots at the governor event. Talk about commitment. The future use of the German dude and his theme music as Easter eggs. Honestly, I just love these guys. So clever, funny, creative. When's the next Broken Lizard production already? A few additional fun facts. The blonde young guy in the car of potheads, Joey Kern, is actually from a city near me. In case it wasn't clear, I'm from a suburb of Cincinnati in northern Kentucky, and that dude is from Independence, which is just around the corner. Back in 2014, Kevin Heffernan and Steve Lemmy came into the Newport Funny Bone near Cincinnati and did stand-up together. My friends and I went, and one of the friends has such a loud, obnoxious, but honestly genuine laugh that they called him on stage in hilarious fashion. After the show, we met with them, and I got a pic of them both kissing my cheeks. Unfortunately, they declined our invite for post-show drinks at Hofbrauhaus. I think they knew I'd beat them in a drinking contest. Pictures attached. With that, I'd say my modern-day rating is pretty close to my nostalgic rating. I'm giving this one an 8.9.
Damn.
Because it's not quite a 9, but man, it's good and deserves some love. Thanks again for features, my dudes. So that gives us a 7.54.
Perfect.
All right.
Which is about where this should be. 7.54 on all the movies we've done is going to land this in 81st spot. It's not as good as Ace Ventura, but it is better than Tommy Boy, is how we feel.
You know what? Tommy Boy's a 6 for me on our ratings, and I'm like, wow, is
That's
it really?
a shock.
I think it's the melodramatic stuff that brings it down for me.
Yep.
Where this is just silly, and I do prefer that.
Yeah.
They really let this one go just be a funny movie.
Yeah.
Rather than emotional.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for being here. Tune in next week. Iron Eagle. We're going to light a candle for that one. And then we got a pick from executive producer for Three Amigos.
All right.
It's going to be a good one. And if you're new to the podcast, go back this time last year, Heathers.
Come on now.
That's a good one. A real
Solid
fun time.
one. Hey,
Confusing nominated actress in that.
It
Yeah.
really
Get
is,
on it.
man.
I do just want to say, Laura, thanks so much for
Yes.
participating and giving us this awesome movie. I'm so glad we got to do this movie.
Hell of a
I love
job,
this
too.
one. Great pick for us.
Yeah, thanks to Brian on the controls,
Brian,
too.
awesome.
Upload
You're
Media
cool.
Group. He's counting our meows. Add one more to it.
Yep.
Learn more at uploadmediagroup.com and also check out our network at cloud10.fm.
That'd be great.
God, we love all you guys.
See you later, meow.
You're the best.
Go on to the next episode. Keep listening.
Thanks again for listening, guys. We really appreciate it. Make sure you're checking us out on YouTube here in the studio, hanging out with us live and in person in the studs. Check us out on social media. Search for Confused Breakfast at Confused Breakfast anywhere on social media. And please leave us a review. 5 stars on any platform that you're listening on. Write us a comment on Spotify or an Apple Podcast. Write us a review. We love to read them.
Go to confusedbreakfast.com as well to see the merch that we have. You can see the shirts. We have new shirts up there. It's awesome. I believe it. You can go to confusedbreakfast.com as well to see the ratings of the movies that we have covered. You can see AJ's ratings. You can see Mike's ratings. And you can see my ratings and the show's ratings overall. Goodbye. I love you.
Thanks to Brian on the controls here at Upload Media Group. Learn more at uploadmediagroup.com and learn more about our network Cloud10 at cloud10.fm. We love you so much. Go on to the next video.